What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. If you're thinking about moving to Atlanta from another state or another country, and you're wanting to know what the process is like to make that move to Atlanta, stick around because we're going to talk about that right now. One of the first steps that you should do if you're thinking about moving to Atlanta is talk to a real estate agent. Some of the things that I talk about with clients on our initial conversation is things like what kind of home they're looking for or what kind of area they're wanting to live in. Many times people from out of the state or out of the country are wanting to talk about the different suburbs and trying to figure out which suburb might be best for them. So if we have that conversation, those are the kinds of things that we're going to talk about. Answering any questions that you have about living in the suburbs or what the differences are between Atlanta and the suburbs, and really getting to know what kind of home you're looking for and where you want to live. Those are really some of the most important things to talk about when talking to a real estate agent. The next step in making that transition to Atlanta is talking to a lender. When you speak to a lender about getting a mortgage, one of the first things they're going to ask for is things like your income information, tax information, all kinds of personal information that they're going to use to see if they can approve you for a loan. Your goal here in talking to a lender is to get a pre-approval and understand what your budget is for looking for a home. A quick note about choosing a lender for a mortgage. There are a few lenders who are the big banks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Rocket Mortgage. These banks have their pros and cons. The benefits are that they're going to be able to provide really good interest rates because they have a lot of business. The downside of those kinds of big bank companies is that they're going to be slow to communicate, difficult to reach. If you go under contract on a home and it's a weekend, Saturday or Sunday, you might not be able to reach a lender who works for one of those big banks. On the other hand, if you choose a more local lender who works for a smaller bank, they might not be able to get you the best interest rate, but they certainly will be able to communicate faster. These kind of lenders will almost certainly be readily available on the weekends or evenings, and this is really when real estate happens the most, is evenings and weekends. So if you're not able to talk to your lender during prime real estate time, it can be difficult to choose a home and it can be difficult to even go under contract. One thing that you can do to get the best of both worlds is talk to many lenders, some big bank lenders, some smaller lenders, and that way you can kind of pit them against each other to get the best interest rate and choose a lender who is communicating the best. Okay, so now you know what kind of home you're looking for, you know where you want to live, and you know what your budget is. The next thing we're going to do is find homes for you. Initially, we'll look at homes online. We can look on places like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. We can also look at homes on the local MLS, and we'll kind of come up with a list of homes that look interesting to you. Once we narrow down that list to the homes that seem most interesting to you, it's time to see those homes in person. When we're viewing homes in person, we have a few different options for people who are coming from out of state. You can either travel to Atlanta and we can see homes in person. The second option is we see the home virtually. For many of my clients who are out of state, I see homes virtually via FaceTime or Zoom. The benefit of that is when a home comes on the market, we can see that home right away. We don't have to wait to travel to Atlanta. The downside of that, however, is that you don't get a great feel for the home when you're seeing it virtually. You get a pretty good feel, but it's not really the best feel when you're seeing it through a camera virtually. And then the third option would be to have a combination of those two. And this is really what I recommend the most for people who are coming from out of state. You can see homes virtually when they come on the market. We can really dwindle down that list to one or two homes that you like the most. And then you can travel here to see that home. We can even submit offers after having seen the home virtually, and then you see the home during the inspection period. Remember that once you go under contract and you're in an inspection period, you can terminate a contract for any reason at all. So that's really when most people will come to Atlanta and see the home in person, is during that inspection period. Okay, awesome. So we've seen a bunch of homes, we're under contract. Now what? Well, typically the contract period in Georgia, once your offer gets accepted, is about 30 days. That first week or so is the inspection period, and then the next 2 or 3 weeks is the lender going over all of your documents to make sure that you can afford your loan, and they want to make sure that they can approve your loan. And then the last week or so is the closing attorney or the title company making sure that the title to the home is clear and can be transferred to a new buyer. Once you get the green light from the inspector and from the lender and from the title company, you're good to sign for the home. Many times people who are out of state will sign from a different title company. The title company here in Georgia will choose a title company for you where you live, and you can go to that office locally to sign all the documents to receive the home. I hope that helps understand a little better the process for buying a home out of state. Of course, if you're thinking about moving to Atlanta or you just want to know what it's like to live here, feel free to call or text me anytime. If you want to know more about what it's like to live in Atlanta, click on this video. I'll see you there.